Our next speaker has been at the heart of India's digital public infrastructure journey, working to build systems that are open, inclusive, and built for scale. As the COO of EkStep Foundation, Jagadish Babu has spent years shaping technology that empowers people, whether in education, financial inclusion, and beyond. So today he's going to be taking us through how DPI and AI can together unlock new possibilities for India. So please welcome to the stage Jagadish Babu.
So, first of all, it's my privilege to be speaking just before Nandan and Rohini's speech. So, what I thought we speak today is how we saw so much of AI since afternoon. And in some sense, this is Bangalore. We have a core belief that things will work. And so that's good. And Rohini's point, not Microsoft Rohini's point, that we used to believe things that were impossible now will be difficult. This session is about how to tackle the difficult and make it easy. That is this session. How do we organize ourselves? How do we organize ourselves as a community? So I see quite a few people from farming communities. So first let me start with a use case in agriculture and then into education, okay? So also you're not been clapping big enough, I think energies are low, so you got to keep clapping more, okay? So first let me start with a use case. Yeah, good. So let's say this is a farmer, Lakshmi Bai from Nanded in Maharashtra. And she has many questions, right? I kind of put in a question from English, and I just want to put in a word for Mitesh just before I go into my session. Yesterday there was a conference, kind of a meeting, where there were so many concerns about will Indian language work for Marathi. The models will work for Marathi or not. And I have sat through many hours of explaining and convincing, but one session with Mitesh, 1 hour, half an hour rather, the kind of voices they heard, the voice synthesis, text to speech, speech to text, just was awesome. I just want to put a word for Mitesh. Right? So let's say this person will ask this question in English, in Marathi, right? Let's say Nanded Marathi. I don't know how many varieties of Marathis exist in Maharashtra, right? So imagine the answer to the question, if I have a 3-acre, what should I grow now? If this is the answer, if you think this answer AI is capable of generating, clap once, not yet. And if you think we should be getting to this answer for every farmer, clap 2 times. I wish I might have said many times, but if this is the answer, look at the nuance of the answer. First, it's not only saying, moong is the right thing to do, but if the system also knows that you're not yet tilled, it's impossible to till without rains, okay? Even if you have a tractor, it's not possible to till. So in your soil, moisture is low, and in your area, I know your soil, I know your farm, I know your locality, I know mostly predicted rainfall, and I know the moong rates, I know the chickpea rates, and therefore you possibly should be growing moong because I have all of the data come in. This is the comprehensiveness with which we should solve for. Right? But then the challenge is, it's not about a feasibility of technology. That's I think is inherently feasible to do it. But if you are Lakshmi Bai were to start farming today, it's impossible. If you look at the number of steps that are involved, it is less. Some of you are from farming backgrounds here. There must be hundreds of such steps. It's like cooking. If you have not done it, you're possibly not getting it, okay? But as a farmer, I can tell you myself, many things, even if you're a traditional farmer, many of the steps will come to you naturally. That's in your surroundings. But from my own experience, I can tell you, some of the problems are very complex. First, that climate-induced pests that show up are not predictable. Because of the excess heat and stuff like that, those pests that my father or grandfather have not seen are showing up now. And the climate itself is changing so much. Rains are not predictable anymore. Therefore, if you see, for example, this is mango flowering season. If they are expecting rains in end of March. If one season of wind and rain comes, mango is over. If you have spent lakhs actually trying to look for this harvest, you're not getting it, okay? You may have taken loans. Look at this issue. It's a very deep issue. And finally, for a person like Lakshmi Bai in Nanded, markets are going to be very difficult because she's not in a market every day. She has to come back possibly to tend to the existing farm or the cows and so on, and the family most importantly. So she's not in the market. So she has to sell at certain rates. So she's not in a position to predict. So if you are designing technology for such a person, first, most important thing is to be super accountable for what we do. Super responsible, because it's about livelihood of the person, right? So how do you organize the community of all stakeholders to solve for this? That's the point about leveraging existing DPIs, which are there. Significant number of DPIs are there. How do you connect them together? And I believe the moment has come. One of the major advances in the AI in the last few years, especially 3 years, to be able to look for information and contextual information and present, look about predicting, infer and predict with all the existing information, structured, unstructured, and predict for those things that are not yet very clear, and to be able to generate. Look, this problem is very well solved for us in our medical field. If we go to an expert doctor, a diagnosis will happen in a very good lab. We have good amount of information, like what we heard about in the session in there about the Pinky promise, right? Pinky promise. So much of information is available, and I'm able to actually infer. And then the biggest job a doctor does, taking the consultation, is to predict and advise, to say possibly this is what will work for you. That's why doctors say come back after a week, because I don't know exactly. Let me go through this iteratively, right? But for Lakshmi Bai, none of this is available. That lack of intelligence around her community, how do you bring it together? That is where I think technology will be super useful. I believe this is certain that it will be useful. But the question is, how do we organize? There are many ways to organize for it. What's the best approach, right? Or what's one of the optimal approach? So we also heard in the same session that data, the pregnant woman was saying, look, data is collected for their sake, data never comes back. If you see this picture, the arrows most of the time point outwards. From the farmers, from the field, data is collected out for the benefit of the decision makers. Why? Decision makers are intelligent, not because of a waste. They are the ones who are capable of deciding. Today, if you can actually make it inward, bring it back to the farmer as a sahayak, not just for the farmer, putting all of this information together. And for not just for farmer. There are many stakeholders around invested to take care of the farmer's wellness. So how do we bring this together? I think it's possible today, and that's what we are trying to do in a technical architecture like this. The architecture is a choice, is a possibility. But what I love about this architecture is, first, it's protocol-based, it can be specified, that means more and more people can build. We are investing to build digital public goods so that others can instantiate easily and take care of this. What I love mostly about this architecture is look at it this way. Don't look at these boxes as information. They're institutions and people. They have been invested to actually produce those DPIs on the right side are there to serve. But they have actually had very little usage. With this architecture, they will come together. Another beauty is AI continuously evolves. It's not locking into one AI. So as the AI evolves, this system evolves on the left. Most importantly, this is multi-party. It's not about one application, one bot. Any number of bot applications can connect for any number of purposes to serve different stakeholders on the right side. And most importantly, it's not about one country, one network. Any number of networks in one country, one state, one county in a region, and many such networks can come together. That gives both autonomy and agency. But this problem that I notice is not just limited to this is a design pattern. I see the same thing happen in education. With all our work in education space for last few years, we see that same pattern is there. Data comes out, data goes out, nothing comes back to the teacher and the school. Teacher is one of the most complicated functions in the setup. They have so many things to take care of. And if we can actually help them to bring things together for a teacher and a student by connecting all the dots, and much of this work we are very well aware, we have been in the middle of many of these transformations ourselves, and I am confident that the problem pattern is same, and the solution pattern can be same. Solution specifics can change, but largely as a DPI powered by AI, bringing multiple DPIs together and let systems evolve is a great possibility. So if you look at this picture, what I love about this picture is action is in our hands. The technology can provide foresights, insights, etc. Action is ours, and therefore we are in control, right? How do we take care of it, right? Finally, Can you just put the last slide, please? Oh, is that the last slide? Oh, okay. So the last slide I had, which was different from this, was I had a picture of a forest. And while we design these use cases, of course, we have to be responsible to the humans. But I notice in my other AI work, when a person does one more interaction, there was a picture of a tree. And if that burns one more branch, would you do that interaction or would you rather let the branch be there? So that our responsibility to design a solution that is also environment friendly and sustainable, the solution that you're designing for climate smart agriculture should not introduce the climate smart problems for the same audience, right? So that was the picture I had. Thank you very much.